I'm psyched for Aquaman. I'm psyched for DC to get back on track and get moving. Good evening. You've reached the Fanatics of Film, and my name is Ben, and this is my Aquaman video. We're just gonna jump into kind of the new 52, talk about the trailer and how excited I am for DC to be back on the map again, and DC needs a win. Gosh darn it, we just really want this to... I've been psyched for this for a long time, and I'm just going to say it once and never say it again. I'm actually really glad that the Han Solo movie did not get moved to this slot to December of 2018, because then everybody was saying how great that would be. I honestly did not want it to mess with my Aquaman. I love my Star Wars, but I really wanted to see I really want Aquaman to succeed money-wise, so that's just my opinion. I'm really glad, and I guess it's going to end up going up against that Bumblebee standalone prequel, that Bumblebee movie. Don't really care. I mean, that looks okay. It's just, when you have 6 movies that aren't so great, I don't care. I'm psyched for Aquaman. I'm psyched for DC to get back on track and get moving. I thoroughly enjoyed this trailer. Some cheesy moments, cheesy parts, but you've got to win some kids over. You got to win some little kids that are going to enjoy this as a kid and enjoy the awesomeness of Aquaman. So many people. It's like every time I mention it, people just like make fun. It's like just because Family Guy made fun of him so much, and everybody else made fun of him so much. But quite honestly, I think his character is really, really extraordinary. If you get a chance, read the new 52 books. They're really, really great. We're going to do a whole series with my friend Tyler about that and jump fully into those comics. Really, really great stories there happening. But honestly, Aquaman is the king of all things aqua. He can breathe underwater, swim at tremendous speeds, and telepathically communicate with the sea life. Being able to withstand ocean depths, he gets bonus points on land with his superhuman strength, enhanced senses, and nearly impenetrable skin. So, kind of bulletproof. He's kind of bulletproof, but it makes all sense, because it's like if he's able to go down to the Mariana Trench and go that deep underwater, then he should have a ridiculous thick skin that will enable him to be protected in that, to withstand that kind of pressure, when that kind of pressure would just basically kill us if we were to be in that kind of pressure, and we just destroy our bodies. I just wanted to say, like, James Wan, I'm really psyched for him. I actually haven't seen The Conjuring 2, which is apparently a lot of that stuff is like true story stuff, but his whole thing is like horror, and he's into that, and so like if you can take that and put it underwater, I think that is something that'll be very interesting thoroughly. So, but if you do get a chance to check out this new 52 comic, it is great, hasn't really gotten into his brother or anything yet, but it gets really deep into Black Manta and why Aquaman, Arthur Curry, and his nemesis, Black Manta, why they do not get along, why they basically cannot stand each other, and it's because they kill each other's father. So it's kind of a crazy background that they have, a crazy history that they have together. And then of course, it looks like that the majority of this movie is going to be really fighting over the throne with his brother, the rightful heir to the throne, and Black Manta will be kind of a separate thing, I'm sure. But it is great. So the first one is called The Trench. And this is great. By the way, Jason Momoa, I don't know how much you guys like him, but my first time I saw him was in Game of Thrones, He was great in Game of Thrones. Crazy, beginning like a villainous character, and wins you over with how bizarre it is that he and the Dragon Queen, the Mother of Dragons, fall in love. It's a great story. Amber Heard is playing Mera, or Aquawoman, whatever you want to call her, but I'm sure they're just going to call her Mera in this movie. She is actually she's a world-class actress. Great stuff, and glad to see her in this. She's gorgeous, of course, but great to see her as Aquawoman. She's perfect. She's perfect for Mera. So it's great to see them both, and I hope it looks like they have some really good chemistry. So I'm psyched for that. Moving on, anyway. So this is going to be cool. It'll be really cool to see. Jason Momoa said it was Star Wars underwater. So Jeff Johns. You got Jeff Johns is the writer. Ivan Reis is the penciler. Joe Preto is the inker. Jeff Johns, I guess, just barely left DC just recently, which is a shame. Beautiful art here. This is beautiful, amazing art. And we're just going to get into this story. So, really cool stuff. It opens up just beginning you're dealing with the trench guys and these creatures that live in the Mariana. I assume that it's the Mariana Trench. Of course, we don't know that for sure because DC is a fictional place. But anyway, they're a very interesting creature that are just running out of food, so they have to get topside, and they find. But you have plenty of stuff on land, which is of course, and people are always kind of poking fun at him in this whole New 52, which is I guess that's fine, but I hope that they show a lot of respect for him because he seems a little bit more respected in this movie, and so hopefully. These things will kind of show that he's, respected and not so ludicrous. One of the things that I found that is kind of sad that people don't realize. Well, it's like 75% of the Earth is covered by water, and so like he's king of the ocean. So it's like you want to make fun of that. 70. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. But this trident that he carries is extremely powerful. And he's able to stop some bank robbers, and that's actually pretty righteous. And they can cut his skin a little bit, not so much, not so bad, but he does. You do see him bleed a little bit here and there, not so much. And then of course everybody's like, well, you're basically a cannibal if you're eating fish. And he just points out that the fact that he's like, when he talks to the fish, he doesn't. He's not having a conversation with them. It's not like he's having their minds are too primitive to understand I don't talk to fish. Yeah, you do. Aquaman talks to fish. Everybody knows that. Fish don't talk. Their brains are too primitive to carry on a conversation. So what do? I reach into their midbrains and telepathically push them to help me out. Squids, sharks, eels, it's all the same. Though dolphins are another story. So that's, and someone says nice trident, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, and there are some comical moments in here, but I hope that they just treat him with a little bit more respect. Because once again, it's 75% of the Earth and he's king of the ocean. I mean, come on. And it's like a lot of it is uncharted, unexplored. So anyway, this is a really cool story. Good stuff, good character development. He's, meeting with the locals. They're all just kind of blown away by him. I love this whole thing where it lives for the flashbacks. You get to see him as a kid with his father. Mother's gone. She's gone away. She's always been away for a long time, and he's just kind of upset at her. But she couldn't. She had to leave. And his dad is just heartbroken because he really loved her, and there was like this really huge love, which is great. It's like so much of stories these days are kind of trying to shun away from love. I hope that they amplify that love story. The next thing that we get into is these trenchers, and they're drawn wonderfully here. Really, really beautiful stuff. Scary as hell. I hope that these and it looks like that they're going to be in the movie, so that's going to be pretty cool. Menacing, scary, but they're just animals trying to live, and so Aquaman has some sympathy for him just because they're animals, and they're animals of the ocean, and part of his kingdom, which is cool. Really good stuff. I'm loving this. I love this comic. Really beautifully drawn, beautifully executed. Great story. But that's the horror element that I think James Wan will really do well and do justice for. I'm really psyched for that. So, and of course, you can tell that the love that Mera and Arthur have is just unstoppable. There are moments where there's some insecurity there, but it's reaffirmed by his love for her and her love for him, etc. Just beautiful stuff. And anyway, I'm going to try to get through some of this. Hopefully this is fun for you guys. And, the cops are always kind of poking fun at it, sideways poking fun at him, but, whatever. I don't know. It's just he uses some really cool stuff. Oh, and by the way, Mera's, her talent, of course, her one of her biggest things is she can control water like Magneto controls metal. So same type of concept there. She's able to manipulate any water wherever it is. So she could literally kill somebody by manipulating the water inside their body. And there's one point where she threatens someone who's basically threatening her. She threatens to tell me information if or I will just pull all the water out of your brain and, basically dry you up and kill you. So, interesting stuff, how she loves Arthur, but she really feels strongly that, and she wants to stay with Arthur wherever he decides to go. So he kind of just decides that he wants to stay, there are a couple of spots where he's deciding, I want to stay on, with Earth, with the surface dwellers, but she doesn't like the surface dwellers. She wants to take him back down, and so there's this constant thing because he's the bridge between two peoples, like Superman was, or was in some of the DC stories. Superman was bridging between two peoples, the Kryptonians and the Earth. And the story behind Atlantis is really cool in this too. It goes into kind of talking about how Atlantis, was a city that was above ground, and someone or something put it that way, ended up putting it underground, or putting it, sinking Atlantis. And there's kind of an investigation on how that, and they have to kind of find out how that happened. And that's kind of, I'm not to that point yet, but it's really interesting stuff to see, where that's coming from. The cool stuff, once again, it keeps going back to this flashback scene. You see him as a kid, going back and doing his thing, just becoming, kind of discovering his abilities. And Professor Shin, and Dr. Shin, he was he was a guy who kind of helped Arthur as a kid and kind of helped him, embrace his abilities and everything, but always wanted to know where Atlantis was. I hope that he's going to be in this movie. I'm not sure if we saw him in the trailer or not, but quite honestly, that's what I'm really psyched for, because Arthur is like, no, so Shin really wants his recognition. He wants credit still for being able to help Arthur with his abilities and everything, but Arthur will not tell him where Atlantis is, and he's like, I want the credit. So he's kind of selfish in that same regard. So you get this guy who basically kind of raised him as a father, because didn't really have a father because his father was killed by Black Manta when he was a kid. So he has this, kind of a bond with Shin. But it's an interesting thing to see between the dynamic between them, because he really wants to know where Atlantis is. Right here. Where is Atlantis? He says. So he really wants to know, and Arthur is just like, no, he's being the valiant Superman type. It's like kind of like Superman and Lex Luthor there for a minute, brief moment. So, and this is where they go down to the trench. So They go all the way down to the trench to find the people and any of the bodies that had been taken down there. The art in this is just absolutely beautiful. Yeah, so once again, Arthur has sympathy for them because they're just beings underwater and just need food, etc. Pulling the people out, and they find some people that were in cocoons. Once again, that's kind of like Alien or Aliens type of thing, where they're kept as food later. And he ends up plugging up a hole with a giant rock because he has super strength, and he's able to push this giant piece of a plateau down on top of them. Anyway, let me know if you like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Are you psyched for the Aquaman movie? I sure am. I think it's going to be great. Jason Momoa is actually great. If you haven't seen the show on Netflix called Frontier, great movie about Native Americans, and he is a Hawaiian. He's of Hawaiian descent. Really, really cool concept. And it's just basically, you know, gangsters in the early 19th century. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the Fanatics of Film. And I'll see you at the next Aquaman episode. Have a fantastic day.